Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. If you haven't guessed, we're here to review Mission Impossible. This is a movie, a Brian De Palma movie from 1996. This was one of the slew of blockbuster summer action star power movies from the summer of '96, and it came out I think in May. Well, you probably were younger, so you might not remember, but I think
I was 10.
So it came out in May, and I was, up until this point, I had never been. I mentioned this on, I think, our best and worst video of 2011.
Yeah.
That Tom Cruise, up until this point, to a male teenager, to a straight male teenager, had never been. It wasn't very interesting. He was more of a boyish,
a pretty boy
sex idol for the women and stuff, and I never really cared one way or another about him. I did like at the time, very loosely, Days of Thunder, just because I was young and it was like cool cars. But
I always liked Top Gun.
You like Top Gun? I tried watching it a couple years ago, and I couldn't even get through it. I was just like, this is so.
It's so 80s.
No, it's so 80s and just male bar military bullshit that I couldn't even. My mind just got scrambled halfway through, and I'm like off.
I think that's kind of what I like about it. But anyway, Mission Impossible.
So, on to Mission Impossible. I saw this. This is. I think I mentioned it in the best of 2011. I saw this, I think, 5 times in the theater. At the time, I loved. Well, I still do like Brian De Palma. I love Brian De Palma, and it was very exciting to me. And this was actually, Tom Cruise had a hand in producerial every Mission Impossible movie. And he did something really cool through all of them, which was, when part 2 came along, he was saying in interviews and stuff he wanted each one to be different stylistically.
Yeah.
So, starting with Brian De Palma was a great choice. I thought that what he did with it stylistically was just great. You have Danny Elfman doing a score, which at the time, I'm very impressed with it, because by the time you come to '96, I was really kind of sick of Danny Elfman scores, because they were all sounded like Danny Elfman scores. And what's great about Mission Impossible is that if you didn't know it was Danny Elfman, you wouldn't necessarily know it was Danny Elfman. That's what I really like about that score, and he does that. I don't know what the hell that that little, the Mission Impossible, what that. Bongo, whatever the hell that sound is. I think it goes. I don't think it's in 2, because that's like a Hans Zimmer damn score. But I think it's in 1, 3, and 4 that whatever the hell that instrument is. I can't do it, but the Mission Impossible instrument. I just thought overall it was very good, and I loved how it was. I was a big fan. I still am at the time, but it was when I was just getting into like Europe when I was a kid, like the whole idea of Europe and the European cars and European women. I don't know what the hell the name of that woman is, but I think she is just like drop dead gorgeous. Do you know her name?
I looked her up so we could do this review, and I've
since forgot her name. But she was probably out of all the Mission Impossibles, for my money, she was the most drop-dead gorgeous woman, because like she's obviously European as well, but oh my god, I was just like, still am. That's not the whole reason why I like the movie. I think the movie works great. Compared to now, it is kind of low, it's kind of minimalistic in a weird way. What's great about Mission Impossible is it's like a summer action movie that's got one of the most quietest, slowest scenes, and I was so taken, and I still love that scene, because it's completely not what you would normally expect. Like that summer was Independence Day and all this other shit. So the scene where he's lowering down into the room was totally not what you normally expect in a summer action movie, and you can hear like the air conditioner in the theater and the projector back in the day when they were actually projecting 35 up there going. I mean, it was just dead silence in the theater, and I thought that was of course that's like probably Brian De Palma, such a great scene, and I'm really good at bouncing off of you, so I think I'll let you continue. Before I hand it off to him, it's 4 stars. I saw this 5 times. I'm a huge fan of the first movie. I think it just captures, I never saw the show necessarily, but I just love what it captures, like a European film noir, just spy, whatever, whodunit, whatever.
Well, I saw this movie back when I was 10 in the theater, and I really wasn't blown away, and it was probably because like I was going in expecting like
Action.
yeah, it's touted as an action movie, so it's expecting Independence Day, top-notch special effects and stuff. Not that the special
The
effects
special
aren't really
effects
good.
at the end are very good, even still.
They do kind of hold up. So after his review, I decided to go and watch the franchise. So I started over with the first one, and I was excited because I really like the filmmaker. He made a couple of movies that I really like. Brian De Palma.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like him, so I was excited to watch it. And rewatch it. So I rewatched it, and I found that my review did not change like in the slightest. I'd give it like, I'm gonna go 1.5 with it. There are 3 scenes. The 3 scenes that I remember liking as a kid are the 3 scenes that I like in the movie, which is the scene between right after like his crew gets slaughtered, and then he's in there, and they have those tight camera angles on his eyes, and he's looking all.
Oh, you mean in the aquarium place?
Yeah, in the
That's
aquarium place.
Great.
Like it's so great up until he starts throwing the gum around, and that was so stupid. But anyway, I really like the scene, the interaction between the 2 men, and the talk,
and the music,
and everything. I do like Danny Elfman's score. And then I really like the scene that's in pretty much every one of copied in all of the sequels with the slow.
Not so much 3.
Yeah, it's in there. Watch
it is.
Yeah. He's being lowered down, and then the train battle at the end is really cool. Yeah. It was also cool when I saw it in Speed, but this is done a little bit better than it was in Speed. It's essentially the same scene though.
Yeah, but I prefer the train. It's much more,
It's a little more intense.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know. The movie doesn't really work for me. Like it was really slow. I did like how they cast a bunch of like named people in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Like I'm like, oh, Emilio Estevez. I completely forgot he was in this. Well, there's a reason I forgot he was in it.
Because he's in it for 3 minutes.
Yeah, and then like John Voight and stuff, and of course I remembered everything with John Voight. But I was like, that's a really smart move. You think that the movie's going to be about these people, and then it turns out not to be. But there's that scene really early on in the movie. It's about the 4th scene in, which is so awkward. Where they're trying to show everybody that these guys are buddy. They're all friends, and they're just sitting and joking around in like their little meeting thing right before they go out. Yeah. The most awkward, stilted dialogue. Like they're clearly pretending like they've known each other for years, and they've probably known each other for 14 minutes, and they're like, "What? Your name is what now?" And it is like just awkward on camera, like that.
Weird.
Yeah, that scene just took me right out of the movie. But yeah, there are touches that I like. I think the special effects work insanely well. I do like, as you mentioned, the scene, like, it's one of those your hands get sweaty scenes when he's being lowered down. And it's a scene that I've never, like, hundreds of movies have tried to copy, and no movie has really done it quite as well. But the movie just didn't play for me. And it got, like, too complicated on top of itself, and like the story, it just tried to one up the audience so much that I just completely lost interest in it, and I actually fell asleep. I had to rewind the movie. I fell asleep for like 10 minutes. I had to go back, rewind, and start over again.
All right. Well, I'm a huge movie fanatic. Then I don't know about this guy. I don't fall asleep during movies.
I generally don't either. There's something that's funny with each of the Mission Impossible movies, and I'll touch on each one, but.
Oh, there's a scene where you fall asleep.
No, kind of. Each movie hits the 25-minute lull, and it's not like the movie lulls for 25 minutes. At the 25-minute mark, the movie, each and every single one of them hits a spot where they're just like this pace entirely stops. The filmmakers are like, "What are we doing? Oh, that's right," and then they go back into it. And this one has it probably the least out of the four, but this one definitely had it right around the 25-minute mark. It's so weird. Go back and watch the scenes that are closest to the 20, the chapters that start closest to the 25-minute mark are the moment where each one kind of like loses its balance for a minute.
Weird.
It is strange. But anyway, so this one had that, and I thought, hey, that's kind of weird. And then we'll touch on that in a second. It's interesting to see how each movie tries to recover from it. Some are more successful than others. But like there's so much to like about this movie for me not to end up liking the movie. So I'd give it, as I say, I give it 1.5. Like, I think Tom Cruise does quite a good job. As you say, I'm not hugely impressed with him generally, but he was like really born for this role.
I was at the time. I mentioned it in the best of 2011 reviews. Is that I was very impressed at the time with him, and he earned my respect, at least for that movie when I was that age. When I saw it for that movie, I was like, okay, because I liked his performance. My team is dead.
Yeah, his performance in that movie all the way through is really good. Like you get a good director behind him, and he can do good work. I also really like Vanilla Sky. You have a really good director behind that, and he was good in Minority Report. And Spielberg knows how to coach people really well with their performances. So I mean, he can be really good. It's just most of the time he does play the pretty boy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Top Gun is not a good example of his screen work,
No
but
way.
he is really impressive in this one. So there you have it. That's my take on Mission Impossible.
That's our take on Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
He didn't mention the girl at all, so I don't know what the deal is.
And she was fine. Will say, after I rewatched this, I went to all my friends and I'm like, man, I just watched Mission Impossible. Doesn't that movie suck? And Emmanuel, who watches these reviews, he was just like, what are you talking about? That's like the pinnacle of 1990s action.
What's his name?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, right on, brother.
Yeah, I was like, when was the last time you saw it? He was like, I was 14. So that he might not.
You're right though. You're still right.
I swear to you, go back rewatch that.
He's
Anyway.
right. Anyway, on to Mission Impossible 2 will probably be the next review uploaded probably the next day.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.
I can understand you're very upset.
You've never seen me very upset.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.